short presentation. I introduce you to Ilya Stechkin, who I think we've got to know during this time, and he comes from
Lomonosov Moscow State University.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is really Ilya Stechkin, and I'm a lecturer in the Faculty of Journalism in Moscow State University. And also I'm a head of the United Editorial Board of Internet Projects of the faculty. What does it mean? It means that every type of internet activity are produced and promoted and managed through our department. Before I try my academical career, I had some experience in real mass media. I was a manager of internet projects in a TV channel, then started to be the head of internet department, and finally I tried to reflect the practical experience. So my interests are the new roles of the journalist, the transformation of the journalist role with the new informational communicational technologies, and the transformation of the role of the audience. That's the point. And my today's topic is on the crossroad of these two groups of interests. So the topic is interaction in media, the way to protect the reality. The topic is a plan, so we'll start discussing the reality and different ways to protect it. Then we'll speak about mass media, media professionals, and how they can influence the protection of the reality. And finally, interaction in media is a way to protect the reality. Let's start with the reality, but first know that interaction is the easiest way to prove somebody's existence. So back to the reality. We can find two types of the reality. Primary is that the reality where we all were born and we are now situated, except the people with laptops, you see. And the secondary is the virtual, handmade, and web-based reality. And now, as a colleague before me told, we can find the process of changing of the realities when the person prefers to produce positive social activity and the secondary reality. So, because of this is the new point, this is the new effect and the new trend, we need a new word, and I use the term debigration to mark the process. So the question is, why do people prefer secondary reality? There are two types of reasons. The personal reasons are, first, it's easy to interact. And we do remember that interaction, the communication, is the easiest way to prove yourself that you exist. Then, the time online is scalable. That's quite important. Also, to construct yourself online, the general image from language to avatar is much more easier than to construct yourself in a primary reality. And there are a lot of instruments to demonstrate the results online. For example, if you have a great deal in Facebook-based game, Mafia, the system will automatically publish the results on your wall. The next block, connected with the mass media influence. Media produce the fashion to the online as a style of life. Then, mass media broadcast the position of prevailing authorities. You know, the president of Russia is the fan of new technologies, so he promotes this style. Then the interests of financial structures, the interests of businesses. There are different businesses interested in promoting the network as a channel of the personal business model, because it's an effective one. If you are working online, you do not need offices, transport, etc. So the interest of financial structures, and then, last but not the least, the interests of game development industry. They pay billions and billions every year to promote the products, and a lot of the products are online, like massively multiplayer online role-play games. Yeah? So now we know why, and we need to know how to stop the migration and how to take the migrated citizens, like you told, back into primary reality, because that starts to be the real problem. Some countries open clinics to cure people from internet addiction. Others send personal nurses. That's probably the reason to migrate, yeah? In China, they use special camps, and you told it in Korea also. But I'm sure that the role of media and media professionals in protection of the primary reality is very, very important. So media and media professionals, internet and web-based ICTs, like mobile applications, for example, transformed roles either of the media professionals or of the media audience, as a famous British scientist Dennis Maxwell has declared. So I have studied the roles of the journalists in Russian internet and find three groups: traditional, actualized, and modern. But according to my today's topic, we do not need the details about each of them. Those roles were described in my dissertation, so we just need the number of interactive roles, because we already noticed that the interaction is an easiest way to prove one's existence. Interactive roles are organizer, agent of influence, moderator, facilitator. This is the most important role for us for today. Marketologist, sociologist, mediator, and dispatcher. What are the audience's needs? They need respectful dialogue, and we as a press produce the monologue. They need practical results, and we produce the information. They can produce it themselves. They need content navigation, and we still produce the content. They want us to be the gate openers, but we are still gatekeepers. So there's the problem. That's the conflict of interest, the most serious possible conflict between mass media and the audience. And media professionals should practically help the audience in their life in primary reality, because that's the way to stop web migration and reconnect the audience to primary reality. And the nearest interactive connection with the audience help journalists as a moderator, facilitator. What is it, this type of media professionals? And what is its role in process of interaction? First, moderator produce the code of rules to control the audience. Then it controls the audience, and finally it can manage or Tamagotchi the audience. In our study this year, we find three general models of this role. The role of team leader, editor, and specialist or expert. So to be the opinion leader, you should be an expert with a high level of education, and education of internet users also is a way to protect the reality. complex protection of the reality is necessary to educate internet users in 4 different levels in a parallel. We have digital divide between teachers and students. Today there were a lot of presentations about this problem, and the day before. So we should educate teachers, and in Moscow University we start the process. It can't be 1 minute. After that, it should be 3 more minutes. Okay. We need help. Okay, I take it. We need to help young people to study how to use ICTs in effective and safe ways. So we produce and publish the manual. We need well-educated and interaction. We will need well-educated interaction media professionals motivated to protect the primary reality. So we have started some special courses. And finally, we need to create such a professional sphere as Hyatt Web. It should be special profession, but not a hobby like today. So perspectives of the study. The very important question in the sphere of protection of the reality is a question of values and targets. Which targets can be realized in primary reality exclusively, and which traditional values helps the individual keep an interest to the reality? That's the questions of our next study. Let's summarize all key points of this presentation. We spoke about the roles, both of the audience and the media professionals, and find the role of moderator. Then discuss the problem of the education, and as the moderators say, we need to finish before the new iPod is coming. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. We have time for just a couple of quick questions, because I'm mindful that the bus is coming at a 1:45, and maybe people might want a minute or two to breathe. So please, question.
Is that about the evaluation of educators? And these educators are the ones that are going to work with at the high school level or also in a primary school?
We started, as I told, it should be in 4 levels in a parallel. So we started an experiment from the secondary, not the, because you see the system of education in Russia is a little bit different. So it's better and easier to start with a secondary school.
I was really interested by the distinction you made between primary and secondary reality. I'm wondering, do you think that would be a tenable distinction to maintain as we see the Internet of Things and the merging of the digital and material worlds, for example, with augmented reality?
You see, that's not me personally, because that concept was created in Britain before the Internet in probably 30 years.
Oh, really?
Yes, by Professor, you will be loved, by Professor Tolkien. The concept of primary and secondary reality was created by Tolkien as a scientist, not a man from literature. And terminologically, that's very useful for our days.
On that line, in the primary reality, does he consider conscious and unconscious? Is that...
Yes, but I think that we have not a lot of time to discuss it, but okay. We started studying about the reasons to protection of the reality, and you see that that's not quite an easy question, because